Welcome
to Leadcast. Let's go.
Intriguing.
Without delay.
Hello and welcome to episode 358 of the Leadcast podcast. I'm your host, Nick the King Cooper, and joining me this week is Aiden Frost Rock Arts.
Dude, I'm slaying out.
And Colton Blue Basket Sweat.
Consider me 110% slain.
Before we get into our week, we let's run down the outline of the show. We got patched 8.24b, which is interesting because I don't think they've numbered many patches in the past. We have the first lettered. I'm sorry, they've numbered every patch in the past. The first issue of the Marvel Cross League comic is out.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about Keybindings. Roundtable. We got a extra spicy one coming up. A cheese pick that I don't think has been done before. The cheese, at least. LCS. A tiny bit of news. 2 emails, and that'll be it. So, Aiden, how was your week?
Good. I've been playing Smash because I finally got my GameCube controller, and holy fuck, that game is much better with the GameCube controller. It's almost like, it's so weird because maybe 64 is bad, but it feels like the GameCube controller is meant for that game.
It feels like the GameCube controller is meant for every game.
That's true, dude.
I'm a little biased, but it's a great controller.
It's a fantastic.
Is it your
controller.
favorite controller of all consoles ever?
Xbox 360 is pretty good too.
Yeah,
360 is good. I've heard that the Xbox One, Pro Elite or whatever, is just a better version.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think a slightly larger GameCube controller would be my favorite.
Oh, the one I have is slightly larger. The D-pad's a fair. I bought it's a licensed Nintendo controller, but it's honestly, dude, they've gotten so much better though. I was watching a bunch of reviews for it. So the actual Switch one, it's has a bunch of dongles and shit that you have to connect to convert it and stuff. All the off brand ones are so fucking good. So I bought a PDP controller, and it's sick. It has instead of having the big push down triggers, it has buttons, which I think is a way better design. I think that's the only flaw of the GameCube controller, and the D-pad's bigger. So, and you can also switch out the little tiny yellow C stick for another analog stick. So it's just feels like a better version of a regular GameCube controller.
Yeah, I definitely think I think the layout of the GameCube controller is the best, but the triggers of an Xbox controller are probably my personal favorite. So something like that. But I like that there aren't extra buttons above the. Well, I guess above one of them. There's the Z button, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's great. Other than that, though, I haven't still played a ton of League. It's just more preseason stuff is kind of not that much fun. I haven't been having too much fun with Nexus Blitz and stuff. I prefer ARAM still, I think, is my fun game mode. But other than that, the new PUBG map came out today, so I was grinding that a little bit, having some fun. I had a crazy circle. Hold on, I want to link you guys this one circle I had today. I got fucking third in this match, but it was one of the coolest circles. Colton, you're gonna love it. Why is it not loading?
Is that Dino Park?
Dino
Dude,
Park.
It fucking ended on the maze.
That's so good.
That's sick.
That's actually oh my god. Yeah, no, I saw that age and I'm like, how fucking hilarious would it be if there's 12 people left because they're just all hiding in the maze.
So
Honestly, so fun.
the guy who killed me was up by the bridge up there, on the north side of the circle.
Okay.
And then the third guy was in the maze. So the guy just started whipping grenades in the maze and killed him.
Hell yeah.
No, it was fun though. I'm having a lot of fun with that map. So, and it seems like they're I guess what do you want to call it? Their season pass sort of thing is actually really, really well done this time. So I'm having fun with that game. How about your week, Colton?
Yeah, what did I do this week? I got some, most of my Christmas shopping is done, out of the way. So, that's good. I just need to go out and, get a couple more small things, and I'll be done. I have been watching Overlord, which is pretty good. I just finished the first season. I'm not sure if I'm going to watch all 3, but I I think those last couple episodes were getting better and better, so I'm gonna give it a chance. Even though, like, you and I were talking about this the other day, how apparently like season 2 kind of dips a bit, but then season 3 is supposed to be the best. So if I just like really quickly grind through season 2 and then get to season 3, I'm sure it'll be worth it. Hopefully. Yeah, I've been playing a little bit of Nexus Blitz. No like ranked or Summoner's Rift at all. Just gagging. It's like, it's preseason, and the preseason is so long that it's like I don't want to commit to playing, preseason ranked for 3 months. I'll just wait until like February and then start it up again, or whenever like the ranked season starts again. I just don't want to like keep practicing for that long for nothing. But aside from that, had a little kick on Space Food Truck again, so that was fun. Just kind of like relearning the game a little bit. Same thing. We played some Raft. I had a great time, even though it was it was real buggy. And again, I think it was because we were playing it on like hard. So like the way it handled the respawns kept fucking up, and then like when we came back, we couldn't place things, or like there was a menu over your screen the whole time unless you disconnected and reconnected, and like there was a bunch of problems. But still, I had a really fun time. So I'm excited if we do play it again to keep going with that, because like we've never really gotten past the point we're at right now as a group, where like we just put down our smelter. And are like getting into some of the stuff where we can like make cool things, and eventually like I don't want to like spoil any of the games. I feel like I'm the only one I think who played it like on solo up to like basically the end. Not that there's a whole lot of content there, but I'm excited to play some more if we do. I know we were talking about doing some Don't Starve maybe, which I'd be pretty hyped because they've done some expansions and some like, I think like quest line kind of stuff where like you get achievements and you get like new unlocks of like armor and things, so that'd be pretty cool if we did do that. But aside from that, I'm trying to think if like some PUBG. Work's been work. I'm done with finals, so I'm back to full time at work. That's pretty much the same as always. Yeah, and then I've got just like a bunch of stuff coming up these next few weeks that I'm excited for, just because like everyone's in town. So I mean, like I'm booked the next like 4 nights in a row, which is always fun when you're doing stuff. So yeah, cool. Nick, how about you, man?
Hey, another pretty standard week. Work is going pretty well. I feel like I finally caught up and am ahead of the work that I have to do, which is really nice. Because it felt quite overwhelming when I wasn't. So that's pretty nice. I've been playing quite a bit of Dota 2 recently, and that's been very fun. The game's real good, and I jerk it off a lot, but it's real good. Yeah, we played some Raft. I've been playing a ton of Nexus Splits. I really like Nexus Splits. I wish there were some things that they changed about it, but hey, I'm glad that it's back. Otherwise, yeah, I'm also finished with my Christmas shopping, and I'm pretty happy with the gifts that I have gotten. But I think that's about it. So let's get into the show. We have a tiny bit of news, but do we want to run through the patch notes first?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, let's do it.
824B. Are those listed at the top?
The B is for Blitz because there's Nexus Blitz specific patches.
Well, no, there's there are some Nexus Blitz, yeah, but we also have 2 changes, which I feel like are the only changes, right? But the first one is Akali. Her W now briefly obscures, which means opponents can see her outline but not her before stealthing or re-stealthing, even if enemies don't have true sight. And targeted abilities and uncancelable basic attacks, such as Nasus's Siphon Strike, are no longer canceled when she stealths or re-stealths. And they've also changed the re-stealth timing to be a little different and scale with time in game. And Aiden and I had a little discussion.
You guys were fucking at it. I read through that and I was like, man, you guys were.
Well, I'm sure it came off probably worse than it was, but I don't know. I think it's pretty silly to have it scale with time, but not uniformly. And I think I misunderstood what Aiden's last point was. So,
I mean, I just think like the main thing is they based it on points in the game, so I thought it was fine. I guess was my reason for non-uniform scaling making sense.
Sure, I'm sure it like feels fine and it doesn't actually change too much. But I just think it's weird that like everything else scales like uniformly if it's time. Like Gathering Storm is every 10 minutes, so you can expect that, right? But if you're playing against an Akali, it's kind of weird that like she gets one at 8 minutes, then 11 minutes, then 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. But I guess the main thing is like you hit level 9, or I guess you hit level 8 at like around 8 minutes if you hit perfect, like get all the XP in your wave. Mm-hmm. So it's right before you have your maxed first spell, and then by 11 minutes you're hitting level like 11 or 12. So you're getting close to having your second ability maxed. So it's kind of in line with having it based on abilities, but more uniformly, just based on game time every single time.
Just seems weird that they wouldn't then just tie it into levels, or like levels specifically, like they had it before, or ability level for her W.
I think like that, like there's a bunch of nerfs going down that I think that might have been too much of a nerf, I guess, is the main thing. Okay. Making her also max it along with the fact that they're nerfing it, right?
Well, they're maxing it. You still max it second, right? Because of the energy regen and the cooldown.
Oh yeah, I agree. But I'm saying like, say if they tied it completely to ability level, maybe you have to max it first, even though it's a like not a
utility,
the best ability. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like it's not that bad of a change.
Yeah, it's not, at the end of the day, it's not a huge deal, but just weird.
Yeah. Pike. So magic resist growth decreased. Q deals less pass through damage to minions and monsters. R execute threshold decreased late. Yeah, I don't think there's like too big of a nerfs here. Like, I think the only real nerf is at rank 8. Like when you're level 18, dropping from 605 to 550 is pretty big. But other than that, it's really not that big of a deal, I think. I don't think it's going to affect him that much.
No. His magic resist growth, he loses, what, 9 MR at level 18?
Yeah, 9.
Basically nothing.
It's really not that big of a deal.
It's pretty small. I mean, I think they're going to keep, like, chipping away at him, but...
Well, honestly, I feel like in something they should probably, maybe not... nerf, but like take a look at is the healing from his passive.
That's what everyone complains about.
Yeah, I think just tuning that down, a couple percentage points will bring him in line a little bit more.
Yeah.
But as I think that's all of the changes for 8.24b, right? The other ones are already here.
Is that how it is?
Nope, these are all like new on this patch, Nick.
Oh, okay. These are all new. I'm sorry.
Those were big changes.
Okay.
So those were the Nexus Plus ones. Are these ones regular?
No,
those were just.
Yeah. Those are major changes. Now these are like just minor changes. They had it broken up like that.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha. All right. So minor changes, simple buffs. Caitlyn, Q base damage increased, pass through damage decreased, R range increased. Okay, so. Making her a little bit stronger if she can hit it without going through the minions, and then just increasing the range on her ultimate. Oh, that's pretty significant.
Is really nice.
Yeah, 3,500 at all ranks from, what is that, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000? So it's almost doubled at level 6.
Let's be real, though. Her like first rank ultimate sucked. Like, it's so bad.
Absolutely.
So,
nice. Also, I'll say it again. Browsing by r/new on... our browsing by new on r/league is the funniest thing I saw. Someone made a post about a Draven player complaining about the Caitlyn buffs because now I can't retaliate. I can't hit her. It was great. Corky, our damage is increased. Whoa, is he back? No.
That's actually kind of like a pretty big change, though.
Yeah, it's 15 at all ranks and then 30 for the big one.
That's actually like it's not big enough, but
it's nice, but it's not gonna. I think like the biggest problem with Corky right now is itemization.
Absolutely. At heart, he still builds crit, and crit's just awful.
Well, it's more the fact that like he builds crit, but he doesn't build a crit item as his first item, right?
Yeah, he wants to build crit, but he has to build Trinity Force.
So like 80 carries at least like still spike at say 25 minutes or something like that. He's still building Trinity Force, then Rapid Fire, then Infinity Edge, and then he spikes. Like that's kind of problematic.
Well, but as an 80 carry, you're building like Storm Razor and then Rapid Fire and then IE, right? So it's still 3 items. I mean, granted, Storm Razor is much cheaper than Trinity Force, but
I'd also say it's like Storm Razor kind of accentuates a crit build more than Trinity Force does.
I mean, yeah, it certainly does.
So either way, it's a little rough.
I wonder how viable not going Trinity Force on Korku would be.
That's probably like
crazy,
benefit. But I mean, maybe just go like you're early and would be weak as fuck. But what if you went like just Rapid Fire into Infinity Edge?
Rapid Fire Infinity Edge.
Yeah, that would even be better because then you're saving 2,000 gold.
Yeah.
Ooh, Sheen Storm Razor maybe.
You could.
Yeah, that would honestly be fine. What about Singed though? His base health has been increased and his fling damage is increased early. Ooh, Singed buffs. He's still bad.
Proxy. More health to proxy with. Yay.
Mm-hmm. Is that a nerf to Proxy Singed because it takes more health to execute to turret?
No, it's going to be the same number of hits. It just means he can tank the minions a little better.
But what a like fucking shit buff. Like buffing his flings maximum health at early ranks when people have less health.
I think this would be a fine buff in a world where tank top laners were being played. But every top laner is just like, I don't know, Riven or Jax or Aatrox. Like they're not going to have a lot of health early, so that's minimal. But if it were a Maokai, meta, Maokai, Mundo, like I think that'd be pretty substantial.
Well, I mean, if like someone starts with 700 health, what I'd say is a lot. I'd say 700 is a lot of starting health, right? It means they have like 600 health and then they bought a health item, right? It's an extra 14 damage, I think. Is 2% of 700? Yeah. So
yeah, I mean it's not much, yeah, but
all I'm saying is it's a pretty sad looking buff.
Tristana, her E damage is increased, both the base damage, the ratio, and the max damage. Also, I learned from a Reddit thread that Nico can increase Tristana's bomb charge.
Yeah,
with her auto attacks.
Oh, really? Can she apply like Vayne W?
That I'm not sure.
She can proc Targons if you disguise yourself as a melee character.
Yeah. Wait, it's okay. So she can proc Targons as if she were melee if she has Targons. I thought you were saying like if she was laning with Braum and mimicked him, she could like give him gold. That'd be so fucked.
No, but still, it's like cool that what you can do with her, honestly.
Yeah. I really want to see if that works for other ones. Because, like, I wonder if you played, like, support Nico with a Callista, like, do you get to jump as well? Do you get to, like, throw spear stacks in there and just get, like, the double rend?
So, I feel like, just intuition, right? That you would be able to jump around, but you wouldn't get the spears. If that makes sense.
Maybe. We'll have to...
Because I feel like spears are tied to an ability, but Callista, like, her jumps are just part of her passive, if that makes sense. And it's like Tristana's bomb is just coded as, like, Tristana auto-attacks this target and number goes up, right? But it's interesting. We're going to see some... We're going to see some pretty interesting things come out of Nico, I feel like.
Yeah. Varus, W empowered Q damage is increased late. R damage increased early. So just really straight buffs for him. How much is that? 50, 25, and then even on his ult. So 50 damage at first rank is pretty significant. And then... yeah, a little bit extra damage on the end of his W empowered Q. That's nice.
What about these Warwick buffs where he got 2 AD?
Game's broken, dude.
Ooh.
We're going back to, was that patch 420?
Yeah.
That was the Weedwick patch, right?
He's going from unplayable to best in game. They should have put him at 64 AD, and then he would have been balanced.
But like, honestly though, like sometimes they do these buffs where they have someone like 580, and you're like, this will actually help their jungle a lot. I'm not sure if 280 does anything. Like, come on.
I'm not sure.
Ugh.
Sure.
It's small, but again, I'm fine with small changes. It's just like they're so infrequent that you're not like right. This is the fucking like balanced by a supercomputer meme, right? We were like, if 2 attack damage is all he needed to actually be good again, great. But there's no way they actually know that. They're just like, he's a little bit weak right now. 2 AD, that sounds about right. Like fucking throwing a dart at a board and being like, yeah, 2 AD sounds about right.
I honestly think these sort of like tiny changes should be on the large patch every month. Like we should see almost every single champion touched a tiny bit like this.
Right, yeah, that's the thing, right? If there was like 20 champions were like plus 1 AD, plus 1.5 attacks, or like 0.15 attack speed, like, you know, plus 8 mana. If that shit was happening all the time, I'd be way more for it. But it just seems like random and out of the blue.
Yeah, because why do this to Warwick, but not to someone with a super low play rate? Like, I don't know, like a champion to pull off, but like Volibear, you know?
Yeah, like
what's the difference? You know, like none of them are getting played. Why change one and not the other? But who knows? Maybe it has more unforeseen impact than we know of.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't do it because Warwick doesn't have any AD scalings, even though. Does his Q then scale off AD? I feel like it's just
his Q scales from AD. His ulti scales from AD.
Yeah, but like not really.
I mean, no, but it does.
It does, but like not really.
Next up is some Forbidden Idol changes. They are increasing the cooldown reduction and increasing the heal and shield power on its upgrades. So if you get a Forbidden Idol, it gives you 10% CDR, and it looks like buffs for heal and shield power for Ardent Sensor, Mikhail's, and Redemption.
So that's a buff to Enchanter supports, but it's also a pretty big buff to Ivern. That's something that is to note, I would say.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like he builds every single one of those items.
Yeah, he's super, super like utility shield reliant. So I just like pay attention to that. That's like the type of change that could put a character like Ivern back on the map. So, so some simple nerfs. Alistar's trample damage has been decreased early. I never realized how much it did. I guess you never really hit the full like amount of it. But before it, like if you hit the full amount at rank 1, it did 80 plus your auto, which was 55, so it was 135 damage. Wow. But now it's down to, sorry, it was 100 then, so 155, but now it's down to, I guess 80 then 35. But it's not that big of a nerf.
This is 115.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like realistically, right, you're gonna get 3 and then your auto attack, and they're probably gone.
But still, that's 115 damage if you only hit 3 before, which was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cassio. Q damage decreased late, cost increased late. So cost more mana, does less damage. I guess she was way too OP.
I got those numbers mixed up, and I was like, holy shit, Cassiopeia's Q costs 250 mana late game?
Yeah, every time you cast it.
Kassadin, health regen reduced from 8 to 2.
8 to 6.
Oh, 8 to 6. 8 to 6. He's still playable.
They fucking got it.
If they put him into 2, that would actually be terrible.
Yeah.
Bad change.
Nico, Q damage decreased. I don't know if she needed a nerf, but that's fine by me. Not that big of a nerf. It's like 10 damage off the base, and then the explosion part is another 5 damage. So.
Tiamat, cost is increased. It went up to 1325. So is that just the combined cost is up?
Yeah, the combined cost is up. So instead of, oh god, what was it before? Like 250, I think.
It was cheap.
It's 375 now. Which is fine, because I feel like Tiamat was way, like, it was pretty cheap.
It was super cheap for how, like, so strong it was. And then the upgrades are still the same price. They took that 125, moved it out of the final combined cost into the first.
I feel like Tiamat's a strong enough item that you don't even have to upgrade it to make it like worthwhile. Like you can just go Tiamat into any other item and be good.
I feel like the only like bad change about this is I feel like junglers weren't abusing it. Like I don't think Warwick, Shaco were abusing it that much. I guess Jungle Camille was, but like I feel like it was more like a top and mid abuse case of this rather than like junglers.
Yeah, but how do you change that? Do you like?
You don't. But
maybe I don't know, a reduction if you have an upgraded smite item.
Stop fucking trying to change the game like that. It's a disaster. No, but like I feel like it's more the fact that there's 3 junglers who take it, being Camille. Sorry, sometimes Camille. Camille's like only like 20% or something like that she buys it on jungle. But Shaco and Warwick buy it 100% of the time. But there's like 10 top laners and 5 mids that build it, right? That's probably the real
big one. Yeah.
Zeke's Convergence. This item is being nerfed. Now your allies' attacks only burn for 30% rather than 50%.
Was interesting because I always felt like this item was like hidden OP because I think the way it's meant to be is it's meant to be 50% of your base damage, but it's 50% of your total damage because that's the way it reads. So you end up with a champion like Jhin who crits for 1,000, but 500 of that, like 500 added on as magic damage.
I just feel like they overbuffed it. The item was bad at one point, but then they overbuffed it. I'm pretty sure was the main problem.
Yeah, and I think champions came out that utilized it and sort of brought out the strength of the item because Rakan, like, you really don't. You kind of buy it on Rakan for the slow, the AoE slow around you, right? But the 50% was just like nice for a champion like Xayah who auto attacked like quite frequently.
I think it'd be nice if they even lowered that a little bit more, but made the area of effect bigger. It's like real small.
I wish it were easier to proc the slow because I don't like. How do you even proc that? I thought it was you just have to be around them, but I think you have to be around a target that your linked up champion is auto attacking for the damage to go off.
I think the fact that we don't know for sure also just speaks to how unclear what that item actually does is.
Hey, who knows? Resistances will now remain after turret plating fall off. So it'll go up from 0 to 40, which will kind of make it so every turret doesn't fall at 14 minutes now.
Yeah.
And that's it for 8.24b. It's kind of a large, like, mid-patch patch. But, cool. Let's get into the next piece of news. Well, that's the next piece, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys read the first issue of Ash War Mother?
No.
I haven't yet, but I will.
Haven't either. The art looks fantastic for it, though. But it looks like it's going to be like an origin story, because you can't do a comic without an origin story. So that'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
Did you guys want to do the bi-weekly? I saw Colton put up something.
I think it'd be a fun little, just like real quick, real light little bi-weekly.
Sure.
Like, this is pure fluff.
Go ahead then.
All right, guys. What is your favorite Christmas cookie?
Are there differences? Like, are there specifically Christmas cookies?
I mean, like, I feel like it can be just like around the holidays, people make a lot of cookies normally. Like, this is prime cookie time of the year. Like, what? Sure. When the holidays come around, you're like, I'm dying to have one of these. Is there a cookie like that for you? No?
Is it, the question is it gingerbread or is it shortbread?
For me, it's gingerbread. I love gingerbread.
Gingerbread's pretty fucking good, yeah.
Like, good gingerbread is so fucking good.
When it's, like, soft because it's still, like, hot. Ooh.
But so, like, I feel like it's not just gingerbread or shortbread, though, because, like, there are a lot of, like, I know especially...
Sugar cookies?
There are definitely sugar cookies. There are a lot of, like... I know, like, there are a lot of, like, Polish cookies, and I imagine, like, plenty of other European countries have, like, traditional desserts that get made a lot around the holidays. So, I don't know. There's, like, those. I'm trying to think. I feel like there's one that I'm, like, totally forgetting. Maybe not. Anyway.
10 holiday cookies.
Yeah,
it says chocolate mint cookies, I can't pronounce that, as a German spice cookie, ginger studded sugar cookies, chocolate gingerbread cookies, pecan shortbread cookies, chocolate chip pecan cookie bars, coconut macaroons, jam-filled Mezzaluna cookies, and chocolate espresso.
I do like those
snowballs.
Jam-filled ones.
Yeah.
All right,
Cool.
well, yeah, I just thought that'd be a nice little holiday thing we could.
I didn't think it was that nice.
All right, well, that's fine. We wasted a minute on it. Let's go on to something better then.
All right, Aiden, tell us something nice about Keybindings.
So instead of doing like a champion, because I don't play this game, I thought, hey, what if we talk about something that I know about? Because I did it this week. I changed all my Keybindings for League, because I've realized, at least I personally feel this way, I feel like I was holding myself back based on the way that my keys were currently set up. So I guess just in general, the main stuff that people have bound as a discussion point is what you have like a click bound to. Like, for example, I click my targets with my right click, but I also a click the ground to like not misclick sometimes. And then I also now have what's the other click called? I should have like put this all together before. Player movement. I have, what's it called? Player attack move click also bound now, which I'm gonna use for kiting, because that only that moves you, but if someone's in range, it will attack. Versus a click attacks the nearest thing closest, or player attack move attacks the thing closest to where you attack click. So those two things are very different, and they both have their own uses. So that was the first thing I rebound. And the next thing I rebound, which I think is the bigger discussion point, which is I rebound. Well, first of all, I guess starting out, I play with Smart Cast, meaning instead of, say I'm playing Ezreal, instead of hitting Q and it pulls up the indicator, then I click, I just can hit Q and it will like shoot out to where my cursor's pointed. So I think that's like, in theory, the better way to play the game, because it allows you to input commands at a faster rate than Q click. I can just hit Q, right? So what I've done, and what I've noticed a lot of pros doing, is that they also have a key to show those indicators. So if they're sitting, say, in a bush, or like just want to see the range of one of their abilities, they can hit, say, in my case, I bound it to Alt, so I can hit Alt Q, and it will pop up with the regular cast that you see. So I have Alt Q W E R now bound, so it pops up with the regular cast. But if I don't hit Alt, I just cast them with Smart Cast, so it casts immediately. I then went and changed my level up key. I used to have my level up key for all my QWER bound to Alt. So now I have my level up my key as Alt, or as Control. So now I can Control Q to level up my QWER. I feel like there's a lot of newer players in the game who probably just click their abilities to level them up, I would assume. But I think that's super, super important, especially in like crazy fights. Like bot lane, I think, is the biggest one, where if you can immediately level up your ability the second that you kill that minion, you have an advantage for like all ending versus like slowing down, clicking your ability, then trying to fight. And then my
for sure.
third bind that I changed was I added shift. I don't think I actually bound shift Q. Maybe I did, but I have shift QWER as my self cast abilities. So I can shift E, and then it'll immediately Orianna shield myself. Like, it'll pull my ball back to me. I think is like a really, really important case. I think Orianna is one of the more important cases in the game of like needing to have self cast, because you need to be able to pull your back and then ball it back and throw it, because it comes back to you faster than it moves with Q. So I think those are the three main things that we should focus around. What do you guys do for leveling up abilities, self-casting abilities, smart cast, non-smart cast, etc.? Maybe even movement, if you have anything special.
So level up, I think, is my Control QWER, and then self-cast is Alt QWER. Which are like the default binds. I don't have like a button to do range indicators, but I feel like I just know the ranges really well at this point, and then like I feel like there's been so few times that I've wanted to actually do that, that like I guess I could put it on like shift if I really wanted to, but I don't have one for that. In terms of like movement things, I have one of my mouse buttons as like attack move click, where it's, you know, move in this direction and then attack the closest unit to that point, which I kind of use as like a you know, an extra movement thing. I don't use it terribly often, mainly only if I'm playing like AD carry, but I could probably use that better, but that's kind of it for me.
I guess just one thing to mention before we move on to Nyx is, like, I guess the main case, like, I feel like a lot of players would be like, well, when would I even use, if you do play a smart cast, when would I actually even use those smart indicators? The main times that I see, like, people use it, like, I see pros use it all the time. That's, like, mainly why I started thinking, like, maybe I'm not playing the game optimally, is sitting in a bush, like, even playing someone, like, a character you know, like Blitzcrank, right? Pulling up that indicator and seeing, like, I'm going to narrowly avoid this minion by, like, 1 pixel based on, like, this indicator, so I can, like, shoot it through minions. I feel like that's a very, very useful case. But the biggest case is playing specific characters like Vigar, where your cage spawns around your click. Meaning, you have to know the exact dimensions of your cage, or else you don't put it on them if you're not playing with indicators. So if you're just playing with SmartCast, you put it, if you click on them, I mean, it puts a cage around them, and that doesn't help you, because you always want to put the cage on, like, the wall on them. So I feel like using Vigar cage as an example is a great way to use regular cast.
Yeah. I guess specifically, I don't have anything that's different from the base Riot hotkeys. I think the only exception is I put my trinket on 7 instead of, it's usually default to like 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have my trinket on 7, and then 4 is the first slot in the next row. But I think it's the only thing I've changed.
Yeah, I've got my trinket on T, and then like items are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've also got like all the emotes bound to stuff, so I can spam emotes, like laugh and taunt and joke.
I can recognize that my keybindings are definitely not ideal, and I could improve if I, changed them and got used to them.
I've also finally bound the areas warded ping.
I still haven't done that.
I refuse to bind it. Like, they've added it almost a year ago, I think. Like, at this point,
really?
I just refuse to bind. Well, I just refuse to do it because, like, they just put it in the game and then we're like, bind it yourself. I'm like, go fuck yourself then, Riot.
But
I finally bound it to H. It's
really
probably the most important ping. It honestly is probably the most important.
I have it bound to Y, so it's right next to my trinket. It's super useful if people actually pay attention, but like, it's so frustrating when people don't pay attention. You like, you in the middle of your lane, you ping like assist me, and then you spam like 3 pings on like try bush. It's warded. It's warded. It's warded. What bush do they go through? The one that's warded.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just report them at the end of the game because they're intentionally cheating. They're trying to lose the game.
Yeah.
It's just so frustrating. And then they're just like, oh no, man, I guess I can't gank your lane. You're always in a bad spot. And I was like, well, you walked through the one warded bush. That's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
Die.
Maybe I'll bind that this year.
You should. It's really useful.
That'll be my New Year's resolution. Bind that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a really useful ping. It's just teaching yourself to use it.
Mark ping and make it that.
Like, the current problem I'm running into after rebinding is, like, now I go to, like, level up my ult with, like, Alt R, and then I self-cast it on myself. Or, like, something. Like, that's, like, learning, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to get that habit out of the way. But I feel like it'll help me in the future, I guess, is the main thing.
Yeah, now's the time to do these changes, too.
Exactly. And I guess little things that people maybe don't use based on, like, how new they are to the game. P opens up your shop. Super useful, so you can, like, quickly open and close it while you're, like, looking at stuff or recalling. B recalls you. I actually know a lot of players. Back in, like, season 2, one of my friends who was, like, man, he was, I don't think Challenger was in the game yet, but he was, like, high diamond, right? He used to fucking click the recall button every single time. Like, and click B to recall. I feel like there probably still is players who click the button, which I feel like that's a really important one. The more things you can do with your actual keyboard rather than your mouse is gonna benefit you greatly.
Hey, how about this? You can purchase items in the shop and sell them as well by just right clicking. You don't have to double click, left click, or even hit the buy button.
Mm-hmm.
You just right click to insta purchase.
Yeah, no, it's just like Little things like that will help you in the game, though. So if I were you, like, I would just go into like a training mode and mess around with them. That's what I did. I played with it for like an hour or so, like just trying out different things, see how it works. There's a lot of commands that you don't know what they mean, especially in movement. Like in movement, there's let me see it. So there's player move click, player attack move click, player attack only click, player attack move, player hold position, player stop position. Like, what do those all mean, right? So you have to like play around with them a little bit and see like the nuances of what they actually do. Oh, this one actually moves me, then I attack. This one only attacks if I'm in range, but will continue my movement command. Whatever. I think the difference between stop and hold is hold will like stop your player and it will stop your attack, whereas stop will only just stop you, but you'll continue to attack.
I thought that was the other way around.
Stop is a full stop. Hold is you stay where you are, but you'll still attack and stuff.
I don't know if there's ever a time in the game where you'd ever use hold. Is the main thing.
No, I don't think so.
So it's just like it's just really playing around and stuff. The only other ability I guess I would like to mention, I barely use it because like, it's a weird key to use, and I don't really know what else to bind it to. Is the tilde key, is to attack. Player attack only. What? I don't even see it in my binds.
Yeah, I think that's like
here it is. Wait.
It's like attack move, but you will only target players or champions.
Yeah, so you can't click on minions. So if you're holding down the tilde button while you're like trying to click on someone who's running through minion waves or something like that, or dropping wards, you'll only be able to click on that player, which I think is a super useful thing that I just don't use enough, at least.
I'd rather lose the kill.
I need to rebind that because I think I put something else on my tilde, and not that I really ever used it before, but I've lost a lot of kills when they're like hiding under turret and their entire model's behind the turret, and you like can't actually click them.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you type in your cheats at, right? The tilde key.
Yeah. It's your command center.
The command console. That's it.
Yeah. No, but I just feel like there's like some basic things that people could really help themselves with. I at least like myself thought that I was holding myself back, so I think a lot of others can maybe rebind some stuff, try some stuff, and you'll do better.
One other set of keybinds that I think are really nice to bind, and I changed mine a little bit. So the way it default binds it is F1 is like lock to your camera, F2 to like an ally, 3, 4, 5, also like different allies' point of views. I have it as myself as 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 is like it'll go like from top to bottom on like the scoreboard order kind of thing, where it's always going to be in a certain way, where I believe 1 is your top laner, 2 is your mid laner, 3, 4 would be like 80 carry support, and this is assuming right that I'm like jungle. Like there's a default order that it's going to be set at, so you're not having to like constantly adjust it. But that's really nice, especially I think as a jungler, to just real quick, like I'm recalling, I can just click like F1, see what's happening in one lane, F2, F3, F4, and definitely there are some like high level junglers out there who are big proponents of this, of like you're just clearing like red buff, you don't actually need to be looking at your screen, real quick cycle through like F1, 2, 3, 4, see what's happening in all the lanes, like actually, instead of just looking at the mini map.
I know LS is a big like IS promoter of that. Yeah. That being said, I think it's one of those things that's very hard to do, but like I do think there is merit if you can rotate that into your play. Like really quickly scroll going F2 F1 2 3 4. There is information to be gained. A lot of people like meme them on Reddit for it. Of like, you can't fucking see that. You saw one frame of each lane. Well, as long as your brain can pick up which way the characters are facing or how many minions are in the lane, like that's enough, right? Like if you see both characters
like
facing
bars.
Yeah, like but even like just position, right? You see both characters facing running towards your turret. That means the enemy laner has like an aggressive like advantage over your laner, right? Like that's enough to just like get that, right? It's just so basic.
Yeah, and like it doesn't need to even be just like one frame. Like I think ideally that's what it is like a frame or two in each lane. Like you're doing this and cycling through every lane in less than a second, but especially like if you're just clearing camps, okay, after red buff, F1, after Raptors, F2, you can slow it down and still gain benefit from it. Yeah. Or like only when I'm walking between camps, like I'm going from red buff to wolves, and that, you can take like a second or two and look in every lane while you're doing that.
No, it's important. If you can like the more stuff you can add to your gameplay, the better you'll do. Honestly. Cool. Hopefully it helps someone.
Yeah. Roundtable.
Yeah, so last week's question was, what would you add as an event to Nexus Splits? Tom said, Shroom Maze. Both teams start in the fountain. There's a maze made up of thousands of shrooms. Each team has That's a word, Nick. Equidistant.
Yeah, equidistant.
Don't even know what that word means. Winding maze to travel through that meets in the middle of the map. Whoever reaches the center first wins. You have to do the same. You have the same dash as an Aussie for your summoner. You can use all your abilities. Tactics may include Ram's Volbear or another tank, sending it straight down the mid to make a path for everyone else following through the gap. Finally, an incentive to play tanks on this game mode instead of just boring ass poke mages. Hell
all
yeah!
Right, all right. OP strat. Here it is. Okay.
Yeah.
You ready? All right. How do you win? You see, this is the first game mode, all right? I'm thinking of an OP strat. You pick 2 champions, you win this game mode every single time.
Okay.
All right. Boom. Talia Kane. She throws a wall to the point he just runs through the wall.
Hell yeah.
Because like a TF could just port there, and that's lame, right? That's just cheating. But Talia Kane, that's smart.
I like the idea of just a Rammus just running through all of it.
I feel like you could even like make it different. Like it doesn't even have to be that. You could make it more like, have you ever played the Mario Party minigame where it like shows you like a path that you have to follow, but the path like disappears and you have to remember it? What if they did that where the mushrooms are like 1-hit kills and your entire team's like on this path that you have to follow, and if someone runs into the wall, you just they just explode and then they immediately respawn back at the beginning.
Awesome.
Like that would be a fun way of doing that though. And I feel like it wouldn't be that like poorly done either. Like it'd be fun. It'd be fun just watching your teammate go, fuck, do I go here? And then they immediately just explode.
Yeah, and then the team with either more champs getting to the end or the faster or you fight at the end, something like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
cool.
Equidistant means of equal distance.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Joshua said, the bare necessities. Everyone turns into Volibear for the next 90 seconds with Q on 0 cooldown with Ghost and Predator on constantly. Whichever team gets the most flips in 90 seconds wins.
90 seconds is long.
Yeah, but that'd be fun though.
Yeah.
Josh said, swap champs with the enemy team in duel. I love that idea personally. I think anything which completely just swaps what's happening in the game is like the best way of doing it.
Do you think you swap items as well?
Yeah, I would assume so. I think that would be fun. And it'd be funny if like you were getting smashed and then you switched into their champion and just fucking beat their ass.
You just sell all their items.
Sell their items. They're like, wait a minute. He took my items and he has my gold.
James said, turn the game into a simultaneous turn 4x strategy game of empire building and resource management. After 4 hours of building farms and tedious civ management to feed and grow your minions and empire, the winning team gets a bonus stats and gold gen for when the minigame ends.
Oh, it's a 4-hour mini game.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Okay. From our Discord, Karma Portrait said, Smite Fight. One champion from each team is randomly chosen and placed into Baron Pit. Each champion has someone to replace with Smite and is made to be equal EXP level. Neither champ can attack each other or Baron, and Baron does not attack the summoners. Baron starts at half health or something and loses progressive chunks of health as if it was being attacked. Whoever smites to kill Baron wins. I think that's a cool
That's really
idea.
Interesting. I'm shit at smiting, so I would hate this.
I think it'd be really fun,
but it would be fun.
But like, I think you should be allowed to hit Baron because like combining your smite with an auto or something is part of that skill set. And I think it'd be way better if there was like bots hitting it, so you could actually, because again, that's another thing. Like timing projectiles coming in and measuring that damage is another skill for smiting well. Mm-hmm. If there's like it spawns just like 2 random bots that are just sitting there hitting Baron. So you can like see auto attacks and spells coming in. I think that'd be so good.
Or why not even just have your like team, like both teams being like the people hitting Baron, like for example.
I think you want the random element of it, so you can't be like, all right, guys, at this time everyone's gonna blow their combos on it, so that we can get it from like 2.5 to 0 instantly. But it's just like there's random-esque stuff hitting it, but you can still track it. So I think that's the point of it, is that you don't want to be able to like time it with your allies, or at least I think that's what he's trying to get at. It's like it's basically random, but I think you should still be able to read it a little bit, so that it's not just pure reaction time.
Hell yeah! Burrito119 said, I think a DJ summon a DDR event could be cool. Set it up like prize fight where two players go head to head and have to hit their ability keys in the right order, DDR style. Maybe this could be an event that both teams could win if nobody fails. I personally, I love the idea of events that just don't care about the current game state. Like, because you're down 10k gold doesn't matter. Like, doesn't mean that you'll lose this. I feel like stuff like this would make it like way more fun. Honestly,
yeah, for sure.
Cool. So this week's question is: your Secret Santa is the champion that you last played. What do you get them for Christmas?
My last played character is Malzahar.
Ooh.
I have no idea what Malzahar would even want. I get him some fresh Yeezys because he like floats, right? So he'll never get them dirty.
That's actually smart as fuck.
Yeah.
Like those things are gonna be fucking pristine after like 5 years.
Damn.
Yeah.
So mine is Vigar.
Give him little stilts.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm thinking, all right, so I'm thinking one of those cars that children drive around.
Oh,
it's like not the remote control cars, but the ones actually big enough to fit children because he's a Yordle and he's small like a child.
They can like actually
you could just
drive
fucking roll up in a. Yeah, you could just roll up in a like child's Escalade.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet.
Hell yeah. So my last played character was Pike. So I was originally thinking like a bathtub, so he can like just like hang out and go swimming at his own home because he doesn't have a bathtub currently. But I think I'm just gonna go with like some like snorkeling gear, like some flippers, what's it called, mask, all that stuff, scuba mask. I feel like that would help him out because he loves swimming, so I feel like I could fund his passion a little bit.
I think you should get him some bath bombs too.
Yeah.
Yeah, have fun in the water.
Hell yeah. So if you want to tell us what you're going to get your Secret Santa for Christmas, you can hit us up on our Facebook page, post in our Discord, send us an email, mail@leakcastpodcast.com.
Cool. Cheese pick.
All right, so this is one I've been playing a lot with Rick that we've been having a lot of fun with. So a lot of the mini games and Nexus splits require that you like focus on one portion of the map or it'll just like pull you there. So me and him will just rush ZZ Rot first item and then place it right before those events happen, and then it just sits there like chunking the tower while you're fighting. It's like if you're in a prize fight or you're doing like a Battle Royale in like the top half of the map or wherever, you just sorry.
He's dying.
Yeah, I'm dying. You just place the ZZ Rots before it happens, and they just chunk towers. It's hilarious. Same thing, like, I'm trying to think of the events it's really good in. Like, Paranoia, super good. When it's a Battle Royale Paranoia, and they just can't see what's happening, but the minions are still spawning. Prize fights, it's tough because there's no minions, so it, like, does minimal damage to the towers, because they're, like, alone, and they all get a tower hit first, but still, if it's, like, a long prize fight, it can do, like, 1,000, 1,500 damage to the tower. And it's just
Earth is
so
the same
funny.
way, too.
So you just, like, stall it out as much as you can, and it's just hilarious. And then we normally go from that into just, like, tank items. We've been going, like, Mundo Scion has been the most common one, which has been a pretty fun lane in its own right. He hits a cleaver, and then I just get to charge at my Q because they're so slow. But yeah, it's been real fun, and we both take Demolish and just tank stuff. Start with the double Targon's Brace or whatever it's called in that game mode. We're going to pair it with cottage cheese because why not? Cottage cheese is disgusting, and so is this combo.
Is cottage cheese actually cheese? What is cottage cheese?
I think it's just like partially curdled or something. I don't know.
Ooh, cheese guy doesn't know.
I don't eat that nonsense.
I used to eat cottage cheese a lot, and I feel like I haven't had it in years, like a decade. Cool.
Maybe that's what your Secret Santa should get you.
Cottage cheese? No, thank you. LCS. LS joins BBQ Olivers as the coach, and Malice joins as a jungler.
It's important to note that Malice is the first non-Korean player to join a Korean team. So,
Interesting. What region is he from?
He's a Swedish jungler. So
wait,
oh,
that's not true. Like, you mean? Because like there are Chinese players on Korean.
Yeah, not Eastern. I guess.
Yeah, the first non-Eastern. So I was gonna say like there's definitely like.
Is there I don't know if there is Chinese players in Korea.
There's 100% Chinese players in Korea.
I'm not sure if there is.
100%.
LCK.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is. I'm pulling up the rosters right now for LCK.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know enough of these players.
Isn't Rookie's Chinese, dude?
Rookie's fucking Korean, isn't he?
Was he?
And he's playing in fucking he's playing in China right now, and he's Korean.
Oh no, yeah, he's Korean and went to China. Who's? There's definitely.
I don't think there is.
Later.
Yeah, you figure it out because I don't know if there's a better way to check.
And there's definitely like other ones that have gone over, like Karsa. Didn't he join an LCK team?
I think he joined a Chinese team.
Maybe they all went to China. I don't know.
That's what I mean. Yeah, he's playing for RNG. Yeah, I don't know. He might be the first like non-Korean player, but at the very least, he's definitely the first Western player for sure.
Yeah, I would believe first Western. I gotta believe that there's.
Does Core JJ count?
No.
Or is he naturally Korean?
He's a Korean player, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But like that being said, like BBQ is like not in the LCK, but they're like their academy right now. But still, I think that's a really, really cool thing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Remember when Ellis wasn't going to join a team because he wasn't very professional? That's a throwback to last week.
So Aiden, I real quick Googled it and I found like a thread from like 2016 about that same question. And at least in 2016, like the top response I saw was no, but there have been non-Korean teams like in the OGN when like CLG used to play in OGN and stuff.
Mm-hmm. CLG Black and CLG.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's happened, but maybe not. I might be wrong.
No, I think CLG actually had a decent chance of if they didn't go up against.
They came second.
Frost.
They came second in OGN.
Yeah, but they lost to Azubu Frost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They had a decent chance of winning. That EU team was pretty good, actually.
You remember who came last in OGN that season?
Yeah, it was CLG Black.
No, it was Dig.
No? Oh, wait, Dig was in Korea?
Yeah. OGN Summer Season 2?
I think it was Winter.
I'm pretty sure it's summer. Oh, maybe it was winter.
No, they played in winter because there was only spring and summer LCS, so they'd go to Korea in the winter so they could actually play and practice.
Oh no! Champions 2012 summer. CLG EU second. CLG Prime 5th to 8th. Dig 9th to 16th. See, I kind of know my stuff.
Oh, CLG Black didn't do very poorly, or Prime didn't do very poorly.
Yeah. See, I kind of know what I'm talking about sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe the ones that win, but I know the big reason they went over there was to play during winter. During the downtime of LCS.
Maybe they also played during winter, I'm not sure. But still. Yeah. That was the season I was talking about.
Mm-hmm. Millfight. Alex sent an email titled Vista, and then he said, Vista.
Yeah, when you said Vista, I was a little bit... I
don't know. I was too fucking poor to afford a computer during Windows Vista.
My bad. Hey, next email. Little Barnabas. Hey boys, Little Barnabas here, and I want to respond to the whole college league conversation. As someone who was part of club sports my entire college career, I think it's important to understand like how stuff like this is run. While club sports are school sponsored, it is generally the activities that the students want, but don't actually make the school any money, ultimate, frisbee, rugby, etc. The way that most schools have their pecking order when it comes to resources devoted to different collegiate activities generally puts club sports at the bottom, because once again, it doesn't actually make the school any money. Club sports are also required to pretty much have students start and run the clubs, and while that's a cool idea, I can tell you from experience that it's a lot more work than any school student actually wants. I guess to sum it up, while it's cool that they are trying to start an NCAA for league, the infrastructure isn't there and can't be until esports is viewed as a varsity sport, and it won't be a varsity sport until colleges can make fat checks off of league. Thanks for reading my rant, Lil Barnabas. P.S. Thanks for the Nico tip. I didn't realize it copied movement speed.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what kind of echoes what we were saying earlier. But thanks, Sam.
Yeah.
And yeah, thanks, Aiden, for the Nico tip.
I don't even play that character.
Alex for telling us how to pronounce Vista.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. That'll do it for episode 358. Thank you guys for listening. If you like us, you can check us out on Twitter at Leakcast and at LeakcastFrost. Our Facebook is Leakcast. You can talk to us on TeamSpeak or Discord. Our TS address is ts@leakcastpodcast.com. Our Discord you can find from an email if you send it to us, or you can message us on League. Mail at leakcastpodcast.com is where you can send emails, which we will read. Twitch.tv/bluebasket and /KingLardout are where we stream, and you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Leakcast. I guess as a closing note, kind of a preemptive announcement, but we will be we will not recording a show in 2 weeks, so there won't be a show at the very start of 2019, but instead we will be resuming the show on the week after, which is January the 9th. So that just happens to be a pretty busy week for most of us. So yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week for 360 or 359.
359. Bye.
Bye.